What's going on, people? I hope you can hear me because I know the fan is quite loud. So I'm hoping that it's not actually like affecting the mic. So I'm going to try and get as close as possible. um, Today I think it is it the 10th or is it the 11th of July 2025, and I decided. Well, the thing is, I already should have been doing this anyway, but because I'm on a process to make 5k a month through rent to rent social housing, and I didn't think about this, about making a day one, well, not even a day one, just a video, well, day one, day two, day three, do you know what I mean, like I did before with my first rent to HMO, and then try to do it with the BRR and stuff as well. um, but that's because I think the main reason was because I already did it before. I succeeded in the rent HMO, but I failed in the BRR. And I don't even like to say failure because it was it was kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Basically, it was something that I thought I've wanted to do, and I'm always cautious of what I say because it's like I could say the same thing about this, but it's like once you know, you'll know. I wasn't 100% with that. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to achieve. I kind of wanted to get the minimum out of it instead of like the maximum. But with this, I want the maximum out of it. Um, you know, I'm doing everything in my power in order to get the maximum. With the deal selling and stuff like that, I had tried it, and I thought I'd wanted it because it seemed like the only thing that was possible for me to do. And the truth is, it wasn't. So this is why I'm starting this now, and yeah, this is gonna be the process to make 5k a month. Now I've explained in the other videos, exactly what I'm doing or something, but since this is gonna be day one of doing it, basically I am doing rent to rent, which is renting properties off landlords, well, landlords and letting agents, but landlords, and renting them out again to social housing providers. Now, that could be the council, which deal in temporary accommodation, temporary or emergency accommodation, but specifically temporary accommodation because it's more secure. Obviously, you want more secure. You don't want it to be void periods. That's with emergency accommodation. And registered providers, which can be charities, housing associations mainly. Um, there's different ones like care provider. I'm still understanding like the different organisations within a registered provider that that rent properties, lease properties. But essentially, the whole objective is to rent the property to the housing provider and make sure that the rent they're paying is, significantly higher than how much rent you're paying to the landlord. These providers typically, and this is not all the time, take care of all the maintenance except structural or boiler, of course, all the bills, and it's guaranteed rent. And they do very long leases. So this is where the idea of it being passive comes in. But the truth is, you need to, first of all, the reason why it's not always passive is because these housing providers are, especially some of the newer ones, are just like tenants. You need to do like your reference and checks on them, to be honest, because there's been stories that I've heard of, them not being able to pay rent or something, and they've had to leave the property or something like that. But we'll cross that border once it comes to it. And also to the fact is what I do. So the process to be able to do it is I use, so I have Monday CRM, which is a CRM tool to be able to write down, and I have different columns for each. So one has like all the registered providers, one's like estate agents, landlords. But basically, the aim of the game is to be able to find a registered provider, contact the registered provider, speak to them, and book a meeting with them. You might have to do some follow up emails. You might have to send emails, follow up emails. You might have to call more than once. You might have to go into the office, but essentially, all you're looking to do is get a meeting with them. In that meeting, you'll have what I have is a list of specific questions to make sure that they're suitable for me to be able to go out and use my time to be able to find their properties. That's how it is. So far I've got about, let's say about, I've had meetings with like 4, 5 of them, three of which are good, but one of which is really good. So that one, he takes care of, like, so in those list of questions, of course, there's list of questions to find the properties, but there's also a criteria that I base them out of 5 on to see if they're worth working with. Because although you want to be able to help, you know, to rent the properties then for their service users, you also want to be, you also need the business mindset of understanding that this needs to make sense from a business perspective. So, from a profits perspective. So, I'm asking them specific questions like, do you pay the first month's rent? Do you pay deposit? Because those are what's going to be needed, but some don't do it. Especially the main question is, how much rent do you pay? LHA rate is not good enough. It's not good enough. There's people out there that understand it, that can pay more. You want to be working with those type of people, because although I understand the LHA rate, it's not suitable, you know, most of the time anyway, especially in Manchester. Um, another thing is, do you take care of all the bills and maintenance? All the bills definitely should be yes. Maintenance, some of them say no. And what was the other one now? But those are the main ones anyway. So, you know, the first person I spoke to, which is completely fine by the way, but he didn't pay the first month's rent. For 2 months, he didn't pay 2 months' rent. He wouldn't pay deposit. He was paying LHA rate plus 10%, which is still not amazing. And but they did take care of the maintenance and they take care of all the bills. But they wasn't taking HMOs that were 2 bathrooms, one bathroom, no, 1 bathroom to 2 people. So you need. This is why I, from that, and from obviously because I've put I invested into a course which is about 5,000 odd pound into a course that teaches specifically rent to social housing and BRRs. They say everything. You tell the reality of it, you know, because everything else is kind of like bullshit. It's not bullshit, but it's like, you know, if you want guaranteed stability, you know, this is like the nearest thing to that through the property, you know, world. You know, low starter income, really. Um, so yeah, essentially, they need to fit the criteria of 5. So if they're not taking the first month's rent deposit, if they're not, you know, paying suitable amount of rent, if they're not, you know, oh, compliance and furniture. You know, if they're telling me I need to put in all the compliance, all the furniture. So this guy that was talking about then wanted me to put that compliance in that was worth nearly like £2,500, and he wasn't paying this and he wasn't paying that. So I understand it if, you know, one of which or two of which aren't suitable, but the others need to make sense, because at some point, you know, the landlords most of the time aren't going to accept no deposit and no first month's rent, and you know they're asking them to pay for the compliance, so that's going to be under me. So I need to make sure that there's going to be a suitable amount to be able to put in, but the return on investment is going to be, you know, suitable maybe within 6 months, but it's on a 10-year lease, 5-year lease, hopefully sooner. But we never, obviously, we'll cross that bridge when it comes. And I'm working 7 days a week, Greg's and Nando's, to be able to get enough money to be able to put into the properties once they come about. Because I don't want it to be, you know, I can't have a property, you know, I'm on £1,000 shortfall just because I'm working part-time. No, I want to be able to maximise the amount of time that I'm having. Yes, it's hard, but it's all worth it. It's all for a purpose. And yeah, so I've got a virtual assistant that is, you know, not doing amazing at the minute, that I need to work on, that I'm actually supposed to have a meeting with today. Well, I have a meeting with her every Friday. Just basically that's contacting the providers to be able to book meetings for myself. She's not doing well. I mean, I've sent her the scripts and stuff like that, but I mean, it is what it is, because obviously, you know, they've not done it before. Maybe it's the accent, maybe it's what they're saying. So I need to spend time and actually understand, you know, how can I better her, because I'm paying her money, you know, to be able to do that. It's only like $3 an hour. Which is not loads, but obviously in the Philippines, that's how much, you know, how much they're getting for it. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm doing. So far, I had a call from a lettings manager that I've actually built the relationship with when I first started property, and he contacted me and he said he's got a block of 6 2-bed apartments in Middleton. So with that, I always had dreams of being able to take like a block of flats, you know, especially for social housing. So now I've contacted the people that I know of, you know, the providers, and none of which want to be able to move up, want that area. So now I'm in the position where I'm understanding that that property is available, and I need to be able to find someone for that property. So the next thing for me to do is, you know, you could either do two things. You could either find the property and find the person, or find the person and find the property. It's always best to find the person and the property. But in a position like this, with the rarity of a property like this, is you've got to act fast. And so for 2 hours, 3 hours yesterday, for the past couple of days, I've just been contacting, trying to find someone that specifically needs property to know areas. I've actually called Rochdale Council, and I should have a meeting with them hopefully next week. You know, that's going to be an in-person meeting, but you know, when I said so over the phone, they didn't necessarily want flats. So I'm still in the mixer, man. Just trying to contact them. There's a state agency that I want to go down into. The confidence for going into estate agencies is there, because obviously I'm understanding, you know, when to go. If I know they don't accept company lets, don't bother, because not only am I not going to feel confident going in there, but it's like it's a waste of time. Yes, I can do it 100%, but you need to be focusing on the things that actually are going to, you know, what's time worthy. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to go into a state agency. I went into two the other week. Well, actually this week Tuesday or Monday. I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, I went into the estate agency. No, it was Monday, and yeah, I just went into there and obviously said my pitch, and you know, both of them liked it. One wants to work with me a little later on in August when he's back from holiday. But so far, this is what's going on. You know, this is the process to 5k a month, and essentially what I want to be able to do is take a property once every single month. I know it's a big ask, it's a big objective, but it can be done and it is possible, as long as you put the hours in, put the time in, because it isn't magical. This is one thing that I've realised. You know, when you first start out, you feel like it's magical. It's just lucky. You create your own luck with the amount of time that you put in, because if you're continuously coming back every single day, you're finding opportunities for yourself, and that's what luck is. It's opportunities, you know, that you've got from consistently going back and going back and going back, making the calls, doing this. So it's just a matter of time, really. And over time, especially with this, is once you've got a provider, once you've got an agent or a landlord that's you built connections with, then hopefully it might make it a bit more easier. But you know, to solidify this idea of rental social housing, I want to be able to get it sooner rather than later, and especially when the first one comes, then it's gonna make it a lot more easy for me to understand, and you know, it's just that mindset is going to be strengthened, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's going to be videos talking about my mindset. Well, I always do that anyway, but you know, just continuously updates about what's going on. So not even wish me the best of luck. This is going to happen. So this month. So yeah, let's get it.